You're on.
Hi. Sorry, I was writing good morning into the chat. Hi, I am Fray, and I'm hosting today, as you can tell. And I'm just happy that you all are here. So, welcome to our wonderful Saturday morning nerd out. And I am going to introduce somebody who is very close to my heart. I love her like a sister from a different mister. The wonderful and amazing Agent M, premier mommy herself, Mezzo JD.
Hello. Good morning, Chucky. I literally was like, you're on.
I know. I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah. Whoops.
That was all planned, everyone. We did that on purpose.
Completely. Good morning on this Saturday of the weekend. My pillow for my feet has migrated to underneath my tripod for my ring light. I can't get to it.
So how was your week?
It was pretty good this week. Got a lot of work done. How about you?
Hold on. Okay. I was like, let me swallow. I don't want to choke on here.
I have my caffeination.
There, right. It was pretty good. Actually, I got my corgi ear.
Yay. We both got our Nomad Trek ears.
Yeah.
Going.
And it does the little ear thing. Oh, look at that. So, although Husby says it's not as cool because he thought it would change to the music, and I was like, well, you know, I understand.
Tell him to get you some of those LED lights.
The LED lights, yeah, okay, yeah.
Because mine can beat to music.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, he knows all about that stuff. I don't know anything about any of that. I let him do that. I'm like, okay, you just be in charge of like lighting and stuff. So
just in charge of lighting.
He's my lighting guy. So we've got actually a pretty jam-packed show today.
Yes.
We've got of course, we got the Ahsoka game. Mm-hmm. And we've got the Blue Beetle. Spoiler-free review. Sorry, that freaked me out because it was me, and I was like, what the heck? All right, and then we've got Phasmophobia. Is that how you say it?
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
You'll learn all about it when I talk about it.
I was going to say that. We've got that coming up. And then we've got our Nerd Out segment by Mezzo herself, Mezzo's Musings, where what are you going to talk about?
Classical music and its influence on popular music today.
Oh, that's cool. No, I love that because I'm I've lately been into soundtracks, like really,
and kind of and partly my journey with classical music too.
So that's awesome.
Kind of a mix.
No, but I we wouldn't have the music we have today without classical music. So I absolutely love that subject. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing we're gonna do, normally we would do the Ahsoka game first. Well, actually we will. I messed her with the overlays. She's doing my overlays. We can do the Ahsoka game first if you want. I know that lately Graveyard has been trying to get some of the other stuff out of the way since the Ahsoka game takes a while.
And then also right now, so it's not going to take as long.
That's true. That it won't. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's talk about Ahsoka. And I know you have not watched any of Ahsoka yet.
We are planning to watch it tonight, catch up completely.
Yeah, it's well that like and episode 3 is not that long. Like I think it's like 36 minutes long. So
Okay.
like the total time, like the first 2 episodes wind up being like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. So it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes around that. So it's not it's like it's movie length. So and there's some really good stuff in it, especially if you've seen Rebels. There's a lot of stuff that you'll catch that people that haven't, and the people that haven't, it's still really cool. But
I'm sure I'll enjoy
like,
it because I love Rosario Dawson. So
and she does such a good job as Ahsoka. She really does.
I love her in Mandalorian as Ahsoka. And even though I've never seen the animated series, when I look at Ahsoka and I've seen clips of her, I'm like, I like that chick. Like I like her.
Yeah, if you on Disney Plus, they have a its own like little channel or grouped grouped by itself, but it's like the Ahsoka Tano essentials for Rebels, and so it's all the so if you don't want to watch all of them but you want to get an idea of what they're going to go through in the show, you can watch just those specific things so you can kind of see her journey. And it includes like Tales of the Jedi, it includes all the animated stuff that she's been in. So that's a good way to do it too, just to let you guys know. So if you are like, I don't know that much about Ahsoka, it's a great way to do it. I watched like the first 3. I was like, I'm bored, what should I do? I'm watching Ahsoka. So that's basically what I did. All right, but yeah. So episode 3, I'm going to do a real like brief-ish recap. 3 was called Time to Fly. It's a shorter episode and we get a space battle and voice modulation. So Marek, which it auto-corrected it in my document to Marrow.
Oh, rude.
Yes. Talks now. He talks now. He actually says words, but it's modulated. So yeah, so they're trying so hard. And I feel like now that it's a distraction because they're trying so hard to make his identity unknown. I'm like, this is a distraction. It's not going to be anything big. It's not going to be a big deal. So I'm like convincing myself that he's not like Anakin Skywalker's clone or something. So that's how I'm rationalizing that, just to let you guys get inside my brain. All right. So this episode picks up immediately after episode 2. We see Sabine sparring with Huyang. I always think I'm going to say his name wrong. So he's been around 25,000 years. This android. A long
time.
Yeah, he's taught everyone. So like his database of all of the like Jedi lightsabers and stuff, he knows all the hilts because he taught all of the Jedi for 25,000 years how to construct a lightsaber. So like he's in the know. I'm wondering if they're gonna pivot him to be like the through line for all the shows coming up, like the Acolyte and the all like the Old Republic and the High Republic stuff that they're talking about. Heck, we might even see him like cameo in Skeleton Crew, depending on what it's going to be about. I could just see him because they have already established that the droids are the ones that are the storytellers in it because of R2-D2. Like he's seen all of it. He's seen all the Skywalker stuff. And so I think it would be interesting to see another droid do that, like Huyang be that person. And he's been around 25,000 years. So it's not like he doesn't know the story of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Like from the beginning until the end. And so I think that's a really neat thing that they did with him. So anyway, I'm going to keep going. And Ahsoka seems to be opening her dogma like up to candidates. So her dogma is different than she's more Qui-Gon than she is like an Obi-Wan. So she's got that where she's just like, look, the Force is the Force is the Force is the Force, and I can teach you how to.
Of course.
Of course. It's the Dr. Seussian. Or no, that was Mr. Ed.
Yeah. So I was
Same
like,
difference.
of course, the famous Star Wars Force.
Hey, Ahsoka Tano. All right, and so I wonder. She's more Qui-Gon and more, like more. She's got that older dogma, like more of the High Republic or the Old Republic dogma, where it's just training people to be part of the Force, and it doesn't matter how easy it will be to touch the Force itself and manipulate it, because that's basically what Jedi and Sith do, is they just touch it and manipulate it to their will. So that, and I just think that that's an interesting direction that they're going in. So, all right. And then Shin and Marok, again, show off their flying skills in this, and when Ahsoka and Sabine and Hu Yang come out of light speed to Cetos. So in the classic Star Wars fashion, you got the space chase and a battle ensues, and so you got people after everybody else. Oh yeah, I definitely think that we need a series on Hu Yang. I think that would be so cool. I'd love like a droid series, like a Tales of the Jedi, but like Tales of the Droids, and have Hu Yang be like the one that kind of knows all the droids and how they interact with him. I think that'd be fun. Anyway, stop distracting me. I'm almost done. All right. So they come out of hyperspace. They have a space battle. And it turns out that their husband was trying to distract me, and he was successful.
I noticed you look up at him. Charles.
All right. Charles. He doesn't like to be called that.
I figured.
All right. So they have the space battle. It turns out like Ahsoka, Sabine, and Hu Yang are in her ship. It loses power. And like the Eye of Sion, which is this big thing, I kind of feel like it's the Death Star of this series kind of thing. It helps out, and yes, absolutely, it is a term for werewolf. Yep, love that. And who's the werewolf? Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield is going to be Marok. Sorry. And Mezzo's looking. I think
my son's phone is pairing with my headphones because it's playing some random video music. What the? I have nothing on my computer playing.
That's funny. Just the look on your face was awesome.
Now it just said disconnected.
Oh, there you go.
It was really
He was probably hearing our stuff, and you were hearing his stuff.
Yeah.
And it probably freaked him out, really and so he disconnected it.
That was
all right. So getting back to this, they make it out of the battle, but there's a time where they are out of power, and so Hu Yang's out of power as well. They like got caught with like an EMP or I don't know, something happens. And anyway, they manage to get everything back up, and Ahsoka does this most amazing thing out in space, and I'm not going to say anything more than that. And then we see, it cuts back to Hera. So in between all of this, like, because Filoni's really good about the cuts. So in between the space battle, it cuts back to Hera being the politician and failing completely at getting help for Ahsoka and Sabine. We get back, they get their power back, they make it to the planet. Shin and Marok are after them still, and we see space whales. We see Purrgil, and they're on the planet, and they're, and Sabine manages to fly through them expertly. Maybe that's how we know she's Force sensitive. And then, and so then they land on the planet. Hu Yang wakes up and is like, what did I miss? And it's all fun. They all laugh. No, I'm kidding. They don't laugh. They don't go, ha ha, we got out of that. They don't do that. So
Hey, Fray, Distance Nerding's wondering where you got some cool headphones like that and where they could get them.
yeah, I'm ignoring Distance Nerding for right now because I'm not finished with my recap.
All right.
As soon as I'm finished
with your recap.
All right. We see Jason Syndulla, which is very important to people who've watched Rebels, and and so that's kind of cool. It's like, oh, since they are introducing Jason, his dad was a Jedi. Is he going to be Force sensitive? Is he going to go to Luke? Is Ahsoka going to train him? Is he going to be Marok? I've heard weird theories about it. So now I want to know what everybody else thinks. I want to know what kind of, and I say everybody else, it's me and you, Maz. But
one
also,
person hasn't watched any of it.
Yeah, and in the chat as well. But yeah, I just kind of want to know, do you want to change, do we want to change our overall predictions now that we're in the series a little bit further? Do we want to, is there anything that we want to...
I don't really want to change anything because I still think that Ezra and finding him is going to be a big part of this series, like a big thing that happens at the end, maybe like even just a frame or just like a few frames of him. It's like his face, like finding him, and then the series ends. Like I feel like that might be what happens. But my overall theory is the same.
Okay.
Oh, Distance Nerding. Hi, I'm here.
Hi, Distance Nerding. I'm not ignoring you anymore. Now that I'm done with the recap. After we get through the predictions, we will talk about our sponsors. Yes, this is Nomad Trek. Those are my headphones, and Mezzo is wearing headphones as well from Nomad Trek. So you can see you can get some with a microphone and without a microphone. So they have all of your needs covered. So yes, and I'm sure Mezzo will put in the thread.
It's in the thing scrolling at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Distance Nerding. Read. You can't tell that I do a weekly show with them or anything. I'm like, I need y'all to read. All right. So I do like your overall prediction being that Ezra is found. I mean, I kind of like mine. I still want to keep mine because I do think that it's going to happen, that Ahsoka will go to the world between worlds, and she's going to talk with a past Ezra to find out why, why he did what he did, and to get a clue on how to find him. So I think that's still good. But if you guys do want to change overall predictions or put an overall prediction in there, please go to our Discord and just say, hey, overall prediction this. We will add you to the list. We'll get you in our point count, and you could win a General Leia Pop Funko, which is what we're giving away for this game. So yeah, I don't know, and I'm sure Graveyard has something in there that he wants to give away too. He always wants to give away something. But yeah, all right. So I think that's cool, and yay, I'm glad. So yeah.
It's really funny because I showed my husband the most recent score list that our wonderful Fray here put in the Discord, and that I'm currently at 20,000 points with not having seen this show yet. Like, that's what happened with Secret Invasion, where I hadn't finished watching the show, but I ended up winning the game, and I'm like, I finished the show after the game was over, and I was like, wait, what? And now I saw all the government officials come out, and I was like, that's why.
Yeah, I'm real forgiving. And Graveyard said I'm the game master.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny. I'm the game master. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm the game master, then I'm gonna, take this power and run with it. Yeah, right. Oh, I thought it was kind of like Anna on Break Room when she was the quiz master.
Yes.
I thought I would channel that in my game master. So, because she's so chaotic. So I just, game master, quiz master was a he. So yes, yeah, with the mustache, or has a weird skin condition.
Has a question.
Question. What do you think is preventing Sabine from accessing the Force? Trauma, guilt, not knowing who she is, or her path lost? So I think there are a lot of things. I think the reason that it's easier for younglings to touch the Force is a similar concept, and this is going to sound weird, is similar concept as children can see apparitions easier because their minds are open to more beliefs and more supernatural stuff because they haven't learned that oh gosh, that's a thing, that's a thing. And so as you get older, your ability to touch and manipulate the Force may be harder, like learning a second language or something like that. It is basically learning a new way of doing things. In the MCU, it's the Doctor Strange. It's the same concept. You know, he didn't know it was there until he knew it was there, and then he learned how to do it. So I do see that as a way. And I think Sabine being a Mandalorian and the Mandalorians being so anti-Jedi for so long, I think a lot of them probably blocked off their connection to the Force, just either generationally got to a point where the Mandalorians just automatically did it when they were born, which is why there's only been one Mandalorian Jedi, and they created the Darksabers. So I think she's got a lot being a Mandalorian. I think that's part of it. She was trained to rely on her weapons, and her weapons were an extension of her. And I think that is part of it. I do think she's got a lot of trauma, and every Jedi she's known has died except Ahsoka. So that's got to be some trauma in there too, and some fear of, if I go down this path, I'm going to die. So she might be afraid of death too. So there's a lot of things that could be happening with her. I think hopefully we'll see some of that going forward. I do think this is definitely an Ahsoka and Sabine story, with the B story being the more galactic stuff. So I think that's it. And I think she will find her path. And I don't think that Ahsoka is training her to be a Jedi or to even wield a lightsaber. She just wants her to understand her whole self. And I think that's where it's going. So whether or not she wields a lightsaber at the end of this, I think will be irrelevant. I think she'll be able to touch the Force and move that cup. She'll be able to move that cup.
Move that cup.
Right. So that's it. What do you think, Mez?
I
have no idea because you don't know who Sabine is and you haven't seen the show.
Pretty much.
There we go. But yeah, I mean, there are so many things that could be going on with Sabine. She's got a really complicated backstory. You know, I mean, it's she created the thing that destroyed Mandalore. I mean, come on, guys. She's got some issues. So this week's predictions, I'll go first since I'm caught up.
Okay.
And we'll see what Mezzo comes up with. We'll see another 10,000 point Mezzo prediction this week. Because apparently I delved too deep into it. All right. So my prediction is...
Mine are so vague in general that they just go with horoscope readings.
Right. Well, the point is I want someone to get points and win. I want there to be a winner of the game and it not be like, well, we're going to give you 1 point because we thought this was fun. No, I want it to be, I want people to get points. I like points. I like awarding them. It's just a thing. All right. So mine is, we're going to see Zeb or Callus come to help Team Ahsoka. And I think that's it. And we saw Zeb in The Mandalorian. He was the one that, Kim's Convenience Store.
Okay.
I don't even know the name of the actor and I feel so bad, but I love him. But his character, that's the guy that he's talking to after he talks with Mando. And comes to the rescue and stuff. He was in that. He's just in the bar scene when they're in that, in the Rangers bar. But yeah, so he was in Rebels. Zeb was. And so I think this would be this episode or episode 5 is going to be the best time to either see Zeb and Callus or both of them. So I don't think we get Luke distance nerding. I think they're going to stay away from Luke this season. They no, I don't think so. I think the only previous Jedi we may see from this, besides like Ezra, I still hold out hope for Kanan, but besides Ezra, I think the only one we'll see is Anakin. Now, what form we see him in, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be a Force ghost. I don't know if it'll be a flashback. I don't know if he's Marok. That would be an interesting twist if he was Marok, if it was a clone of Anakin and he didn't get burned up and his legs and arms cut off and all that fun stuff. I'm just saying. So I just think that we've got that. Yeah. And Steve Bloom as Zeb, he's going to be, somebody needs to go to SAC Anime and see if they can get out of him if he is in Ahsoka. I doubt they can.
Hey, are you
but somebody needs to do. Yeah. I need to know, just between you and me. I'm not going to go tell a live broadcast right now. Anyway.
Yeah, not at all.
Captain Teva. That's who it was. Captain Teva.
My prediction, like I think I said it in the Discord, or was it in the Facebook chat, that I was thinking maybe one of the good guys would get hurt.
I think
not
that's
fatally or anything, but enough to where they end up as like the guy in the chair for the next thing they have to do.
Okay, so
having never seen the show.
So you're saying like someone's gonna be like taken out of the fight and have to be like a supporting character for the next episode. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but then like something happens and the person who's hurt is like, well, I still have to jump in. I have to do something. And so they jump in to do it at their own risk, but ends up okay in the end.
Okay. They have to overcome their pain.
Yeah.
To get back in the fight.
Every day. Roar.
There. I like it. See, and to me, I don't think this is vague at all. Like this is pretty like specific. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Paul Sun Hyung Lee is the actor. Oh, okay. Thank you, Distance Nerding. I love having you as our researcher. I do. I love it. All right. So we've got that. So I love it. You probably get 10,000. Should I just give you the 10,000 now?
No, stop. The Secret Invasion was probably just a fluke.
Well, okay. So last week, really nobody technically got any point. Like what happened? And I gave you and Graveyard points because so Ezra clue will present itself. The space whales, the Purrgil, they're tied to Ezra. So I was like, I kind of feel like I should give you points for that because they are so
that's
like
as a viewer, what you're gonna feel.
Yeah, you're gonna go, oh my gosh, it's Ezra. Yeah, we're getting closer to Ezra. And then Graveyard said someone will get through the Eye of Sion. Technically, when the ship was depowered, it did go through it. It didn't actually travel anywhere, and I was like, it did go through it. So you guys got points for that. So
gotcha. Right. Distance Nerding has a prediction here. Ray Stevenson changes his mind, turns back to good, but Shin wants to stay down the path they're on. They end up having a fight.
See, okay, so Distance Nerding, is that your prediction for next week's episode? Like this is all going to happen next week or overall? Because overall, I've got Jammaz 5000 as we get Kanan somehow. There's a Force Vision flashback with the Sabine and Ezra. That's what they said. And then young Phil said Baylan is an older clone of Anakin and Ahsoka realizes it and becomes compromised. Baylan gets the upper hand and doesn't know he's a clone or the relationship. So he goes in for the kill. And this will lead into or tie into Palpatine's cloning and returning. So overall, okay. I will change that for you guys then. All right, cool.
All right. So after Ahsoka, we have on our schedule the Blue Beetle spoiler-free review.
Which is also me.
Yeah. You want me to do my nerd out first, even though it's normally like the last thing that we do?
We can, yeah, let's do the nerd out first, and then
Okay.
I'll do the Blue Beetle, and then we'll end it on the horror stuff, because that's what everybody's here for anyway. So
Yeah, right. All right. So my nerd out segment, y'all. Never had I imagined when I was in 6th grade that joining choir would lead to a love relationship with classical music and theater. Now, did you know that classical music largely has influenced like to all the genre of like today's popular music? The harmonies in classical music are more likely to be a functional more than contrary motion is employed, and modulation is more common. Although popular music employs rhythms not found in classical music, on a whole, there is a less rhythmic variety in popular music than there is classical. And one of the ways that classical music has impacted today's popular music is the chorus. So when you have classical music, it'd be like A, B, A, and you'd have a part that repeat. And it was like the melody, like the part that you remember the most. That actually comes from the classical era. The classical era is what actually developed the chorus as a thing in songs. So vast majority of songs we hear on the radio today are structured, include a chorus. It's like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. It's like usually like that. And the chorus is the part of the song that listeners remember the most. Another hi Sewang.
Hi Sewang.
The world of classical music opened up so many stories for me and emotions. I started taking it more seriously when I got into high school, and I even did like a competition or two in my singing time, and also chord progressions. So like the way chord progressions you hear, not a lot of people will necessarily understand chord progression, but it's like bring, bring. It's like that's a chord. It's like two or more notes at once is a chord, like that play at once. And when you have a chord, each chord will be given a certain name. Like this is the C major chord, and this is the F minor chord. And chord progression will be like one classical song will be like C, F, C, F. And a lot of popular songs will copy that chord progression. And a good example of it is Pachelbel's Canon.
Oh, I love Pachelbel's Canon.
So you got Pachelbel's Canon. Do, 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 do. If you listen to, so I did a medley once with a choir, an opera choir I was in, and it was Pachelbel's Canon, but we sang Canon, and then we sing songs that are from today that have the chord progression of Canon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like Burger King's Have It Your Way. It's the same chord progression. You could play Pachelbel's Canon behind it and sing Have It Your Way, and it goes with because it's the same chord progression. And so we sang like a medley of songs. So a lot of people don't even realize the kind of influence that classical music has to even today, like in popular songs. That's why it's so catchy, because we know a lot of people know Pachelbel's Canon, even if it's in the back of their mind, they've heard it somewhere. And so when a song is written with that chord progression, you can kind of like, even if you aren't necessarily the most musically in tone, you hear it and you're like, I like that. And it's because you know it and don't even realize it that you know it. And so that's my little nerd out on classical music having impact on popular music today. Even like Justin Bieber uses classical music influence in his stuff. So Justin's nerding. CGAF every ukulele song. You'll hear, that's why sometimes you hear a lot of music of today can sometimes sound the same, is because the writers are using the same principle of classical music with whatever songs they're writing for that. So that's why like it's really nice when I do hear a song that sounds very different, I get immediately drawn to it because it's not like the typical. But yeah, so it's how much it affects today's music, which is a lot more than people realize.
So do you think that, because I look at everything in patterns, and do you think that's the way that it is, like those are sound patterns for us, so that the classical music, because it has been so tied into society for so long, and that we just use those same patterns. I mean, the notes are the same. You have the same notes every time. So it develops a pattern. It's just the way you use the notes. But
yeah, it's definitely the same. Like you said, chord progression is a pattern of sort where it shows what the chords for each of these measures and how it goes, and then it repeats. And people will take that same chord progression and put it into a popular song. So it's a pattern in itself. Yes.
I think that's awesome. Do you feel that, I mean, because of like classical music, because we still have scores for like movies and things. So we are still technically, as a society, creating the style of like classical music, which a lot of times has no vocals and is all about the chords and the music.
Yeah, like John Williams stuff. Like so much of his stuff is very, classical sounding. I consider music in movies more cinematic music rather than specifically classical. It uses a lot of classical instruments, obviously, like a symphony. But I wouldn't necessarily just call it classical, although like a cinematic classical is what I would probably call it myself.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
they call them scores, so they don't go, these are classic, classical music. So
yeah, so there's classical scores, I guess, but that are a soundtrack to a movie or TV show, which writing music has gotten so good. And it's pretty outstanding seeing what people have come up with over time for music, and to keep it different. It's like choreography too with dance. How many choreographies can you make? It's endless. It's countless, because there's just so much variety and change, and minds of choreographers and composers are changing so frequently, and evolving with different ideas that it never gets old. So
well, but you can also go through it and think about how everything old is new again. So like there is that nostalgia factor, but a lot of people will take like those old things and then they innovate it to a different level. And so it's really cool. And I find that interesting. I've been really into how music affects a movie and how it can impact whether people see a movie and think it's really cool, or see a movie and think that it's not so good. And it just depends on the music and how it fits the mood. And so I love that, because movies are patterns too. So it's like you have to find the right music pattern to go with the right movie pattern to get it to match. And so it's just neat. It's just a neat concept, and it's a neat, like, how it all like fits together. So anyway, I'm a puzzler.
And I think if I remember correctly, and I'm so sorry if I am wrong, because obviously I'm not in the movie business, that when music is made for movies, the movie is filmed and the composer, there are some songs that are written while watching like the video because of musicality and things landing on certain points and whatnot. But sometimes it's also just edited to match. So I guess it depends on what they're looking for. So that is my nerd out.
Yay!
Now I turn it over to Fray.
And I'm wearing the blue for the Blue Beetle. August was B month. It was Barbie Blue Beetle month for me. So I'm absolutely ecstatic that Blue Beetle came out. Before we do that, I did tell Distance Nerding that I would also have us talk about our sponsor. So I definitely want to talk about our sponsor. We are sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is awesome. We love Dubby here. We're a Dubby crew. So I want to read that Graveyard came up with, because I love it. All right. So whether you are just waking up for our nerd out, staying up late gaming with us, stuck in your retro alcove for hours, or just tired from your saber fights, our sponsor is just for you. Dubby. It has no calories, no sugar, no fillers, or artificial flavors. Each serving has 150 milligrams of caffeine, which is the same as 2 cups of coffee. Man, don't tell husband. He'll want some. And because it contains neurofactor, it delivers energy with focus with none of the jitters. He's looking at me right now. He's watching. To get 10% off, go to www.w.gg and use the code KCP2023 for a wonderful discount. It's also in the... Oh my gosh.
Just watch it on 1.5 time.
You're like, huh?
That's how I edit. When I edit videos, I watch them on 1.5 time. When I edit, so I can edit a little faster.
Maybe I should try that because I get really annoyed with myself when I'm watching it back. But yeah, so yeah, W is a sponsor. Thank you, W. We love you. All right. Now let's talk about Blue Beetle, or as I like to call, the real blue Boy Scout, because he is. He's blue and he's good and he's funny. Yeah. All right. So this review will probably be a little bit more in depth than my Ahsoka recap. So bear with me. There is a little history lesson in it as well. Boy. All right. So Jaime Reyes has been a beloved character in DC Comics for a while now, so it makes sense to have him headline a movie. A little backstory first. The character of Blue Beetle debuted in Mystery Men Comics #1, published by Fox Comics in 1939. This Blue Beetle was Dan Garrett. Fox Comics later sold the printing plates for some of the stories to Charlton Comics. They changed the spelling of Dan's name by adding another T to Garrett, so it's a 2T.
KCP 2023, Distance Nerding. Sorry.
2023, guys. 2023. Hey, Lucius de Morte.
Hi,
hello.
Lucius.
And they also changed, they gave him a different origin. The origin that he had in Fox Comics, he was a cop, like a rookie cop. In Charlton, they said that he was a college professor who acquires an Egyptian scarab that gives him superpowers. Ted Kord is introduced as his student in 1966 and subsequently takes over after Garrett's apparent demise. Ted is an inventor and takes over the lab in the name Blue Beetle. In 1983, DC Comics acquired the Charlton Comics superhero lineup, and in 1986, Ted Kord's Blue Beetle was integrated into the DC lineup with his own comic book title as a billionaire industrialist. He became a member of the Justice League, and he was a staple in DC Comics and appeared in many iterations of the Justice League until his death in 2005's Countdown to Infinite Crisis. It was like a huge deal, and I literally gasped when I when I actually read it. I was like, "Oh my God, not Ted Kord!" Howdy, Kyber Cave. Being that we're on there now, I think that's fan.
It is.
Yeah. And so in 2006, the Scarab tracked down Jaime Reyes in El Paso and fused with his spine, and that's how we get Jaime Reyes. That's the comic book backstory of it. So that way, when I talk about Ted Kord, you guys can absolutely, do that. So sorry, adjustments. All right. So now that we know the comics history, let's get back to the movie. So the movie opens with an introduction to the Reyes family, and they are embarrassingly adorable, which comes up later in the movie. Thank you. And it started at Fox and then went to Charlton, and then Charlton sold everything to DC. And then, Blue Beetles had quite the fun origin, if you really want to think about it. All right, so the movie opens with an introduction to the Reyes family, and they are embarrassing. I'm like, when I say embarrassingly adorable, like, I mean they're embarrassingly adorable. Like, it's just adorable how embarrassing they are.
When I say embarrassingly adorable, I mean that.
I mean exactly that. I am not like overselling it or anything. They are exactly that. All right. And it does come up later in the movie, like that kind of stuff. So it's fun. And then, this movie is really the origin story of Jaime. as Blue Beetle. So you get a lot of that origin stuff. He comes in contact with the Scarab. Palmera City, that's a comic book thing. So, I mean, like, you have all of these things that are the essence of the character in the comics, and they just kind of modernize it a little bit, make it a little bit more colorful. And, I just think it's great. I mean, all the colors and everything's neon, and it's just, they use color in a really interesting way in this movie, and I like it. So I don't want to spoil anything, but Jaime does come into the possession of the Scarab, and it's alien technology. This is not a new thing. This is something that happened in the comics. So, Yeah. All right. So this puts him in the sights of the main villain of the story, Victoria Cord. Now, she's Ted Cord's sister. And in this, Ted Cord is a presumed dead. So he just disappeared. Nobody knows where he is. So, and I just felt like she was the weak point of the movie. They didn't, sometimes she was an over-the-top villain, and sometimes she wasn't villainous enough. So it was like they didn't have that balance in there. And I really feel like it might come down to Susan Sarandon, because she plays the villain, and I don't think she understood what kind of villain Victoria Cord was, and they just worked around it because she's Susan Sarandon. So that's and I'm like, okay. So but yeah, she didn't ring true for me. And yeah, so that was my weak point of it. Now, Jenny Cord, who's Ted Cord's daughter, she's also not really developed that much to me. She seems like kind of an add-on, or like she's been shoehorned in there because they needed somebody that knew the mythology of the Blue Beetle and the Scarab, and they just picked her to do it. A romance is kind of shoehorned in there. I felt like it was like there was nothing, and then there was something, and it rang very untrue for me, and I don't know if it was needed to be that much of a part of it. But I do see them developing her character so that she does become a big part of Team Blue Beetle. So
okay.
Now Nana Reyes, she steals the whole freaking movie, because she's adorable and she's a badass. And you don't see her badassery coming out until the end of the movie, and it's worth it. I am there for it. I want Nana to be in every single freaking movie. They better not kill her off ever. All right. So one of my favorite parts of the movie was the relationship that develops between Jaime and the Scarab. And in the movie, the Scarab has a name, and he calls the Scarab by its name about halfway through the movie. But it's got like some Spider-Man in the new suit, like after Tony dies. It's got that kind of feel where it's like the Scarab talks to him, and he's just kind of like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And I felt that way with like the whole Spider-Man thing, where it's this teenager, and he's like, "I don't know what's kill? What's the instant kill?" And it's like, nope, no instant kill, no instant kill,
no.
Yeah. So there's some of that, but it also mixed like that Iron Man 1, like, when he was doing all the experiments at the beginning, and he was like, well, that's kind of cool. It's also got that kind of feel where, like, once he figures out stuff, he's like, well, this is so cool. Like, I mean, it's that kind of thing. And I really liked that because he was scared of it, but he was also really also into, he's like, oh my gosh, this is kind of really cool. I'm a superhero now. Like, it's that you get both of those sides of it. And I really like that. They did a really great job with developing Jaime Reyes and making him a really good and well thought out emotional character. And I really like that, because sometimes they just go, nope, you're either Jaime or you're Blue Beetle. And that's it. Yeah. And it's like, there's a lot of other stuff going on. So yeah, and I said the movie balances humor and seriousness well, and it's overall a great movie. I would watch it again. So the movie is Fray approved. I approve this movie. Woo-hoo! It's no Barbie, but what is? What is?
Barbie.
Barbie was the sleeper hit that everybody knew was going to be a hit, except certain people who shall not be named.
And it's like so much bigger than people probably even anticipated too. Like, we knew it was going to be a hit, but even bigger.
Well, I mean, Margot Robbie herself said, "Oh, I said it would make $1 billion," and she was like, "I don't think it will." And now it already has. So she's like, "Whoa, maybe I should start saying this stuff more often." So
Yeah. All
Anyway.
right. So thank you so much, Fray, for your spoiler-free review on it and the
Yes, absolutely.
history recap. So that's really, I like getting the history recap because there's some things that I've not, like Rebels, right?
Oh
Hi,
yeah.
Aubrey. I know she just woke
Hi,
up.
Aubrey.
Love you. Don't
We
don't
love
feel
you.
bad. It's
Yeah,
okay.
we got
You're
this.
not. You haven't been feeling good, so
Yeah, don't worry about it,
you are
sister.
completely cleared. All right, so guys, next up, which is our last thing before we end the show, is our Phasmophobia update. So, if you haven't played Phasmophobia before and you've never heard of it or you don't
I
know much about
haven't.
it, here is what it's about. You are assigned to a team of investigators and you go to a location. You choose that beforehand, or you can click random. And you have gear and you are to go in and identify what type of ghost is haunting the facility, whether it be a home, a farmhouse, a campsite. There's a high school, an asylum, and a prison. And there's several different types of homes. So you go in with tools. They give you the basics at first, and you earn money with completing the jobs and everything. The before you only had one type of one tool. Like here's your salt, there you go. Now this new update they had that was like a week and a half ago or a week ago or so, they
Mm-hmm.
completely don't feel bad, hun. It's all right. You're not feeling good, so that's
Sister
why you should feel
Aubrey,
bad. Is that you're not
you're
feeling good?
you're
You're
okay.
feeling that
Yeah.
way. We love you.
Yeah.
So in this update, they wiped all your experience and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You get a plaque that says like your previous level, like a participation award. And they start you at 0.
Did they
The
give you
big
a juice box and little what is it,
no.
orange slices
They give you
too?
your character wears a patch that has your level number on it too. So now you start at 0 and all of the items have changed. So with all the items changing, it was a lot of fun playing. Yeah, she and I played it for last Wednesday's stream.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
go back to sleep. Love you. Just go back to sleep. Okay, get your rest. We need you better.
Yes,
Um,
Sister Aubrey. I'm
so
calling everybody sister now. That's
now there are tier 1, 2, and 3 gear items. Tier 2 was basically what you were using before. So you start with tier 1. So like
Mhm.
before the EMF reader looked kind of like a TV remote with just lights at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the lights.
Mhm.
This tier 1 version is more like a Geiger counter with a dial, and it doesn't work
Oh.
quite as well. Or like you start with what you had before was a gun thermometer, right? Like one of those trigger ones.
Mhm.
Now you have a mercury thermometer that you have to work with. Like and then tier 3 is like the amazing version of the tier 2 that you used before. Like
Mm.
you can preview what they look like. Because when you join the game, you start out in like this warehouse place where you gather with your people, like it's like your lobby in the game. And you can preview what all of them look like, all the gear. And if you want to check it out, if you look at last Wednesday's stream, I go over it with Aubrey and show her all the gear and like what each one is and stuff.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
so yeah, you level up and they're not just okay, find the ghost. There's challenges, like there's a challenge mode where you have to get it right 3 times in this one location before the week runs up. And they can be sometimes easy or incredibly hard. And this week's, for example, was incredibly hard. They do different difficulties in the game as well. Like it's so expansive. You can start amateur, which is like the easiest. It gives you a 5-minute window when you first start, before the ghost can hunt. Yes, the ghost can hunt and kill your character. It's crazy how it can happen. And even when I played with my husband for the first time like a week ago, and for so long, I died. And what happens is like the ghost come, all your electronics kind of go haywire, and you try to hide. You have to break line of sight, or the ghost will still find you. And if it does, you hear like a crack, and then in front of your character's eyes, these hands like come across and pull, and you become a ghost yourself if you die.
Oh, that's cool. So do you
And
still get to
then
play as a ghost?
yeah, so the way, if you ever want to play Phasmo and your character dies, this is how you can help as a ghost. As a ghost, you can pick up items like plates and mugs and coffee cups and stuff like that. And there's one of the gear called ghost writing. It's a ghost book that the ghost can write in. If you place that in there, but like your people who are still alive don't want to go in, you can actually check as a ghost, and then we'll actually pick up like a mug or a plate and then throw it at where the ghost book is usually at in the truck.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that kind of thing. And then someone who's dead can actually watch the behavior of the ghost, because some ghosts travel faster than others. One that's called Nobake is actually a shapeshifter and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. This update really kind of gave people a new purpose in mind, like leveling up so you get better items. Like it's not just, okay, level up to get more money. It's level up to get better items. And you start out with only so many items. You only have like 6 items that you have access to. And there's like 18 items in total or something like that. And you have to unlock them with some levels. So the more you play, then you get everything unlocked. Then you play, and then you can get the tier 2 unlocked. And it's not all like once you reach level 15, all the tier 2 is unlocked. Now it's different levels for all the items. And so it's that feeling you have when you want to just get your platinum trophy.
Right. Yeah.
But
No,
it's a great upgrade. You can't wait to play again, Aubrey. Yeah, me too.
So it's like is it an like a mamorph? A mamorb? What do they call that? Like a multiplayer online RPG?
MMO.
Okay. I'm like
Massive
a mamorp.
multiplayer online. Yes. So you can play up to a group of 4. You can even play alone if you feel the risk. I've tried it before and it's scarier. Like I'm, like that kind of stuff. You can play up to 4 people, and the idea in the game is you're there to identify the ghost. You're not there to kill it. After you identify, another team, like in the story would come and do it. You're there just to identify it. Yeah, exactly. With their
Ghostbusters.
with their proton packs.
Right.
I almost said Phasmo packs because we're talking about Phasmo. So it's fun. It's just a fun experience. If you want to watch some people who are really good at the game, Impulse SV, he's on Twitch, but he uploads his streams to Impulse SV2 on YouTube. He's pretty good at the game. Because it's not just like, so you look for evidence, right? Like ghost orbs or ghost writing, freezing temperatures, that kind of thing. But aside from those, there are behaviors the ghost had. Like only the Obake will leave a handprint that has 6 fingers.
Oh,
and
okay.
One ghost will immediately hunt right away or hunt more often. That's a demon, like stuff like that. So there's behaviors. Exorcist Ink goes out there. Ooh, I wonder what that one is. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, Exorcist Ink just goes out there and takes care of them like that. So it's a fun game. The update's really cool. I'm excited to keep playing. What I'm also excited about is my save here on my desktop is now synced with my save on my laptop.
Oh.
So, for example, my son really wanted to play, and he got to play last night with his daddy from my account. And whatever he does is like, oh great, I get to level up without I'm leveling up. I'm AFKing technically because my son's doing it for me instead.
Yeah.
And I trust him. If he ends up spending my character's money on stuff, that's fine. I don't care. It's a game.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Anyway, so that is the Phasmo update.
Well, that's awesome. And I think that that's fun because it's like you're a ghost hunter. And a lot of people don't get to go to like the fun places to ghost hunt. So it's kind of cool like that. And then there's the danger of becoming a ghost, but then you have that whole level of playing that's like ghost version. So
and it's not you're a ghost. You can't hurt anyone as the ghost that you are, but you can see, your character has stamina when they're alive. And so you can only sprint for 4 seconds. It's super short. Like none of these ghost hunters are fit whatsoever. And as a ghost, you can just sprint the whole time. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of nice too, especially when you just walk around the ghost to see what they're doing.
You're like,
there's also in the game, this is not part of the most recent update, but it wasn't part of the original release. It's another game. This is a lot of fun. Oh, okay. And there are cursed items you can use in the game for different reasons. There are tarot cards. You pull them. You don't know what you're going to pull, but sometimes someone will die. It'll start a hunt. Or it'll bring someone back to life. There are Ouija boards. If you use one, you can ask the ghost where it is, because you have to find what room it's haunting. It's a specific room, usually. And so on the Ouija board, you can say, where are you? And it'll spell it out for you. but the person who uses it, their sanity level drops, and the lower your sanity gets, the more likely the ghost will hunt. And then there is a music box, which basically just causes a hunt, from what I've seen. There's what we call the monkey paw, which is like it has 5 fingers, and you can make 5 wishes. You can say, I wish for knowledge, and it breaks, and it will kill you. But you're, I just saw your over here. It'll kill you, but you open up your journal of evidence, and it will cross off a bunch of things that aren't the ghost. So
okay.
Yeah. And then when your other teammates can grab it and say, I wish for life. And and often the person who wishes that dies, but the person who died before will come back to life.
Wow. So I love Monkey's Paw. It's like one of my favorite like old school stories about like,
That's why you got
be careful
excited.
what you wish for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because that's like totally like my thing. It's like Monkey's Paw is like the coolest horror device because it's like you're so tempted, but you're like, oh, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna, that. I just love it. Yeah.
It's fun. And the last one that I can recall is the cursed mirror. And if you pick it up and look at it, it's just like the Ouija board. Your sanity drops, but it will show you what the room looks like that the ghost is actually in. So it saves you hunting time, but it drops your sanity. And you can help with your sanity by, if you have the access to it, because you have to level up to get to it, is sanity medication. You start with like what we call the juice, sanity juice. It's just like
Dubby.
A pill of water. It's like snake oil. No.
It's Dubby.
It's Dubby. You gull it down and throw it, and it brings up your sanity like 30%. So if you only had 50% sanity and you drink it, it's up to 80, and it's less likely to hunt then. And then the next one is pills. And I don't remember what the one after that is, because tier 3 stuff I haven't really used or seen.
It's like John Ralphio. Pills, baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a Parks.
All right. So that is the Phasmo update. And that is what we have for you on our Saturday morning nerd out. But now we will start our outros, and Fray, we'll let you go first, my dear.
Thanks. Hi, guys. I'm Fray. You know me. I'm here every week. I am on the you know me. I am on the nerd out every Saturday. I think I've missed a couple, but majority of the Saturdays I'm here. I am also on Distance Nerding on Tuesdays, usually for the download, although the last couple of weeks I've also been on the build. So that's fun. I love coming on the build occasionally because it's a fun time, crazy times. And very chaotic. So it's just, I love it.
I'm
also
chaos.
Thank you. I try to be chaos positive because I'm nerd positive. Got to be chaos positive.
Oh yeah, it definitely does, Aubrey.
Yeah. So I also do the Discord. I'm a mod in both Distance Nerding and Kyber Cave Productions. I'm a mod there. I occasionally do a Fray About Town on our Patreon. And that's the Kyber Cave Patreon. And you can actually become a member of our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And we do have some wonderful stuff that we do there, some funny stuff that, I mean, I don't know if it's not ready for Kyber Cave production. I feel like that's what we are sometimes.
And if you guys want to check out also what we have on the Patreon is the first 12 episodes of Saber Rattle, which are not on the Kyber Cave Facebook pages. And so I am releasing those as like part of our vault.
Yeah. So, and I think that's cool because Patreon has some stuff on it that you can't really see anywhere else. And so that's always a cool thing. And then let's see, what else do? I have my own channel. I just started a show on that channel called Classified with Shadu, who also has been on this show and is away right now. He's on vacation. And what we do is we take your favorite fandoms. The first one is The Bad Batch. And the next one is going to be on Star Trek characters. Which ones? You'll have to tune in and find out. But yeah, so and we take them and we classify them into Dungeons and Dragons classes. And we also have a supplemental series coming up to that explains each class, each Dungeons and Dragons class, and all of their subclasses. So if you guys aren't familiar with a certain class or you want to get more into the Dungeons and Dragons classes, you can also watch those. Those are usually about 5 to 10 minutes long. I think a couple of them go over that, but and we are planning on getting those all out in a 13-week time frame because there are 13 of them. So it's going to be really neat. We plan on doing some Marvel stuff, like MCU stuff and DC stuff. Probably going to not do Lord of the Rings because that's basically Dungeons and Dragons, just Tolkienized, or reverse that. I think Dungeons and Dragons came from Lord of the Rings. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to do a lot of different things. We have some classic horror stuff like maybe a Dracula or Frankenstein. We haven't thought about that yet. We plan on putting those out in October. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun there. And you can see corgis. I have corgi shorts on there. So.
Ooh, that's always fun. All right. Now it is. Now it's me, I guess. So hi, I'm Mezzo. That's weird. Weird message on my phone. Sorry. I am here on Kyber Cave Productions. You can catch me on Sunday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays here on Kyber Cave Productions. You can find me on Twitch. I will grab my link in just a moment. Oh gosh, my nose though is tickling me. Okay, find me first on Twitter. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
Okay, thanks.
Or should I say Godzilla?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Instagram, and then the other place that you can find me is on Twitch. I will be starting my channel back up on October 3rd, and so give me a follow over there so you don't miss out when I come back on my personal channel. I'll be playing so many different fun things there. And if you guys would like to check out our other shows, just check out the link in the description, not the link, the information in the description below. It'll tell you about all of our other shows that we have during the week. And that is that.
That's that. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. And I hope that just being the two of us, ladies of nerddom here, helped out. We were giving you the females version of the nerdiness.
Godzilla kaiju tight. That's great. I love it.
I do want to say, thank you, Aubrey. Yes, I figured that's what it was. And I was like, wait a minute, reverse that. I felt like Willy Wonka for a second. You know how he says things backwards and reverses. Anyway, but no, thank you guys so much for being here. I know Graveyard appreciates it, even though he isn't with us today. Mezzo, we love Mezzo. Aubrey, we want you to start feeling better. We love to see you here. And we'll have an all girls nerd out one of these days. We'll just all of us. We'll get in our PJs and we'll talk about girl nerd stuff and we'll have a fantastic time. Maybe it'll be a special or something. Anyway, thank you guys so much. If you would like that, please comment. Please like and subscribe. Every 100 subscribers, we do actually have a giveaway on our Saber Rattle show for lightsabers. So you can actually win a lightsaber. So if you subscribe and we get to that 100 subscribers, you could be in it to win it a lightsaber. We've had several people win them. They're amazing. They're so much fun.
Yes. And at 1,500 subscribers, we are actually, Van just pointed out, we are giving a NeoPixel saber, which is it's really good. So,
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us for today. Tune into Saber Rattle tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.